Uh, Matt, we'll start with you.
So I'm excited. I am definitely more excited about Aaron Glenn than I am Lance Newmark, but hopefully, we could talk through it in the next couple hours here. For me, I know that there were a lot. I feel like the initial excitement was there for Aaron Glenn, and I tweeted this out, and I still believe it. I think maybe at first some Jet fans were maybe overrating Aaron Glenn a little bit. And now I think he has become underrated because it feels like, at least in my timeline, he's been getting a lot of hate on the timeline recently. And I don't know if that's because of the Lions' poor performance in the playoffs or what, but I, Glenn was in my top four options to be the head coach. He wasn't number one or number two. I would say he's probably my third favorite option. So I don't think it's horrible. I'm excited about it because he's a former Jet. I think it's a positive that he was here. As a player through the change in the 90s when they were pretty rough under Rich Kotite, and then Bill Parcells comes in here and completely changes the trajectory of the organization that lasted almost a decade. I also like from Aaron Glenn that he has the scouting experience, like that he did that first as a head coach, and then did quality control and assistant positional coach, and then a positional coach, and then a defensive coordinator. I think the thing that's holding people up is that it's a defensive coordinator, and the Jets pretty much exclusively hire defensive coordinators who are going to be first-time head coaches. I think that's a valid concern because we have no idea what he is going to be like as a head coach. The thing that excites me about him, in addition to what I just laid out there with him being a former Jet, is he's saying all the right things right now, and I hope it rings true. But I have some optimism that he's going to be more of a CEO style coach and not just another defensive coordinator who gets put in here and then doesn't care about the offense. I'm sure we'll get into some of his offensive coordinator candidates in a little bit, but I have optimism of him being able to build out a staff. So I like Glenn definitely more. Newmark is okay to me. He was in Detroit forever, and they were mostly horrible through the first like 20 years he was there, and the last few years were pretty
He
good.
knows what not to do.
Yeah. Although apparently he was running the 2016 draft for them, and they got a couple long-term starters. So I guess that turned out okay for them. One on the offensive line and Graham Glasgow, which a guard we like a lot in the third round. Hey, finding offensive talent in the mid rounds, that would be a major win. But he's been in the league forever. This is his first real crack at being a general manager. He would not have ranked in probably my top 5 to 10 GM candidates, to be, completely honest with you. But I'm hoping he can take what he's learned in the turnaround that Detroit had and the success that Washington had in year one that he was there, and bring that over to the Jets. But I would say I'm more optimistic and excited about Glenn than I am Newmark.
Bean, what about you? How you feeling about Glenn and Newmark?
Well, a lot of people don't know this about Lance Newmark, but he was a wide receiver for the San Diego Mesa Olympians. So that's a lot of people don't factor that in. I feel like that's pretty important to know.
Quite a resume.
I'm with, yeah. Well, he also played for the San Diego Toreros. So big career he had that we don't talk about enough, quite frankly. Lance Newmark, it's funny. Our boy Connor checked in with me last week, and he said, one of my top guys is Newmark. And I was like, get out of here. The fucking guy. I was like, that guy's the worst. And here we are. So I'm with Matt, though. It's like, the good news is he's had many positions in the personnel kind of, ladder up, if you will, which is really what you want to see. He's a part of two very, very piss poor franchises turning it around. He's been at Detroit for 3 years. Well, he's been there a long time, but in a prominent position during their turnaround. Moved over to Washington, and you see what they're doing. So I mean, you gotta believe that he's part of that. I mean, I don't know if he's making the picks or whatever, but that's pretty good. That's exciting, new, young But I got to tell you, honestly, the Aaron Glenn thing, I love Aaron Glenn. I watched the draft that Aaron Glenn was drafted in. I was excited. He was the player I wanted. Like, I love Aaron Glenn. I was very upset that we exposed him in the expansion draft when he went to the Texans, I believe it was. And the fact that he started his, I think Matt mentioned his, personnel, like administrative career started right here too. So he was a player here. He came back into the NFL with the New York Jets, was a scout for us for a couple of years. So there's a lot of history there. He's got the Parcells background for 3 years. He coached under Sean Payton. So there's a lot there, but I can't shake it, man. It's the same exact. If this guy wasn't named Aaron Glenn, everything was the same. 90% of the people that are all on board for it would be like, why are we doing this again? Same exact shit. It's the fact that we love the guy. So what I call these are emotional decisions, and I don't like emotional decisions. I always regret my emotional decisions. Whether I do something out of anger and break shit, or if I buy everybody around, next round's on me. Like, I always regret emotional decisions, man, good or bad. So look, I'm hopeful. I think that he's a quality coach. I think he's like, one of the next guys up. I think it's appropriate that he get a head coaching job. So I don't think it's like a reach or something like that. But it's just for the New York Jets, another rookie defensive coordinator paired with another rookie GM. I'm going to tell you what, we're going to be going to get a rookie quarterback. I mean, I hope we keep Aaron Rodgers, so whatever. But in the very near future, we're going to have a first-time DC head coach with a first-time GM with a fucking young quarterback. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know how I can really hope that it's going to be different. You know the old saying, definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing. That said, if we had to do with a rookie defense, this is the guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is the guy. And I can find excitement for Aaron Glenn. Like, I do love him. And again, I think he's quality, but I can't shake my overarching feeling is just like, all right, I hope his staff is experienced, man. I hope he brings in some really notable quality guys. And there's some good names passed around, getting passed around right now. So that's going to be really interesting, but I don't know. I'm in. I'm not going to be one to complain and bitch about it, but before it happens, I'm going to talk about it with you guys. But I can find myself being excited, but not my top choice.
What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary from Talkin' Jets. If you liked that video, please make sure to subscribe and follow for more New York Jets content.